Today, we're going to talk about the amazing benefits of ginger and turmeric for longevity and overall health. I love these two foods, ginger and turmeric, and you can find them in the fresh produce section of a grocery store or an Asian market. You'll definitely find them there. You can go to the middle aisle of the grocery store and find them ground up and dried as spices. So don't be afraid to actually wander to the middle aisle and go to the spice section to find ginger and turmeric.
Now, let's talk a little bit about ginger and turmeric individually. First of all, turmeric actually comes from Southeast Asia, and it is a tiny little root, kind of a nub, kind of cigar-shaped, but smaller, and it's got a little skin on it. When you peel off the skin or break it in half, you'll see that it's bright orange on the inside. This is an edible root that can be used for cooking and stewing. You often see this in Southeast Asian cuisine. You can also find it in Indian cuisine as well. And turmeric has actually been used for traditional healing, aggravated healing, and traditional medicines for thousands of years. I like to think about it as a colorful spice that you can actually use for cooking as well. And what's in turmeric is something called curcumin. Now, curcumin is a bioactive that does a lot of really powerful things. Curcumin lowers inflammation in your body, sort of the OG, one of the original anti-inflammatory substances. All right, that's what curcumin does. The anti-inflammatory curcumin also can cut off the blood supply feeding cancer. So it's anti-angiogenic. This is something that I did work on years ago. And to help discover that activity, curcumin also is an antioxidant, so it actually protects your DNA. Look, we all have DNA in our body. It's our genetic instructions. They make proteins. You don't want them to be damaged because when your DNA is damaged, it's called a mutation. What is the mutation that you look for? Cancer. So protecting your DNA with an antioxidant property of curcumin found in turmeric is actually another benefit. The other thing that turmeric actually does is it slows down cellular aging. Now, this is different than actually reversing aging. Like you don't turn into a baby when you have it, but it actually gets your cells chilled out a little bit. So your cells are not speeding up and going towards a more aged state. All right, so it slows down cellular aging. In fact, it can actually help to slow down the burning down of your telomeres. These are actually like the fuses at the end of your DNA that burn down as we age. It slows that whole process down. So that's turmeric. All right. Now, what about ginger? Another root, really amazing root. I love ginger that you can actually find in the fresh market at the grocery store. You can buy it dry in the spice market. If you go to an Asian grocery store, you'll see beautiful big chunks of ginger. They're sort of like almost a cactus, a big centerpiece with little arms sticking out. Ginger is something that's used in Asian cooking of all sorts. If you've actually been to the sushi bar, you know that ginger is sliced really thin and given as a pile next to your sushi. Absolutely delicious. Ginger is also used to flavor stir fries in Chinese cooking. Ginger is used in Thai food, Vietnamese food, and I use it in soups. Just a beautiful, delicate, but potent type of flavor. Now, what's in ginger? Ginger has a bioactive called gingerol. Gingerol has been studied. It's anti-inflammatory. It is antioxidant. It cuts off the blood supply to tumors. This is something I worked on as well. Ginger can actually improve metabolism and help to lower lipids as well. I want to give you a little pro tip on ginger, because when I used to buy ginger, I used to take it back, stick it on a cutting board, and grab a small knife, and I would scrape off and trim that thin skin layer. It took a while, and the skin was a bit tricky. You don't want to cut too deeply into the ginger. But I actually found a tip that I'm sharing with you now. If you want to really peel ginger like a pro, here's what you do. Take a tablespoon, just one from your spoon or silverware. Hold the spoon in one hand with the curved side facing the ginger. Then hold the ginger and just scrape it with the spoon. Scrape it with your spoon and it will take off the skin right at the skin level. Just take a few seconds. You've actually skinned the entire ginger without wasting it. Super easy, and it's a great pro tip for using ginger. All right, now let's talk about the benefit of turmeric and ginger together when it comes to longevity and overall health. One of the things that this combination of turmeric and ginger I think would be really good for is joint health. Now, obviously, as we get older, our joints suffer from wear and tear. You get inflammation, you get pain, osteoarthritis, and it turns out that ginger and turmeric, when you combine their anti-inflammatory properties together, can actually be a balm for inflammation in the body. And what better tissue to actually aim at than lowering inflammation in your joints? Sure, you can take a pill, a non-steroidal, but actually taking turmeric and ginger, adding it into your food is a wonderful way to get some of these bioactive compounds and help address the vulnerability of aging, which is really joint pain and joint compromise. Okay, the other thing that I think turmeric and ginger are great for is brain health. Now, when we actually are aging, one of the things that we really want to avoid is dulling of the brain, cognitive deficits. Where are my keys? Now, I can't remember. What did you just say? What's my name? You want to avoid that. It turns out that it's thought inflammation plays a role. Brain inflammation, that is. So, both turmeric and ginger have these wonderful properties that can actually be anti-inflammatory in nature. The other thing that occurs, we think, is that oxidative stress in the brain damages neurons, the nerves in your brain. And so the antioxidant properties of both ginger and turmeric are really, really great. They can help as part of an overall lifestyle plan to calm down your inflammation and oxidative stress in your brain as we age. So for better cognitive health, all right, the other thing that is turmeric and ginger good for is cardiovascular health, all right? Now, again, inflammation in your blood vessels, your arteries, that's a setup for atherosclerosis, which is building up of crap on a lining. Okay, this is sort of lipids and other inflammatory proteins. They formed a crust on inside your blood vessels. When you hear about something about heart attack with blockages, that's really because the crust has actually formed, the gunk is formed inside your blood vessel because of damaged blood vessels to that inner lining, the endothelial lining of your blood vessels. So anything that's anti-inflammatory actually can help counter those effects that can cause cardiovascular disease. That's an accumulation of gunk material, lipids that caused by inflammation that can actually cause blockages, narrowing, and blockages, whether it's in a heart, which sets you up for a heart attack in the brain, sets you up for a vascular dementia, as well as stroke in your neck, the coronary arteries, and in your legs, because you can cause peripheral arterial disease. Now, this is actually a silent kind of heart disease, except that it's not in your heart, it's in your legs. And the gunk accumulates to the point where you actually can't even walk 100 feet before, hey, just a quick note. I wanted to share another great resource with you.
Look, I love eating seasonally. When foods are in season, they taste fresher, their flavors are better, and more importantly, they have more bioactives that help your body activate your health defenses, so they're better for you as well.
I put together a special guide that shows you some of these foods called 3 disease-fighting foods for the spring. Trust me, these are the foods that you're going to want to put in your cart the next time you're in the grocery store or when you're at the farmer's market. And get my guide for you right now for free in the caption below. Now let's get back to the video. Well, if your blood vessels are very narrow, the muscles of your leg aren't getting enough oxygen, so they seize up and cramp. And this is actually when this happens. You could be walking down the parking lot, just 100 feet, and you get a stop and rest. All right? Your muscles need to completely stop their work so they can actually load up again, get rid of the lack of gas, and get more oxygen. Or walking in a shopping center or shopping mall, just walk a few stores length and then you cramp up. That is actually peripheral arterial disease. So ginger and turmeric with our anti-inflammatory effects help protect blood vessels. But the ginger, all of ginger and the curcumin of turmeric also directly improve the health of the lining of the blood vessel cells, that inner lining, okay? And so they also directly help vascular health, the health of your blood vessels. You get better blood flow, better heart function, better blood flow, better brain function. And by the way, this also applies to your legs, applies to all of your organs, and applies also to erectile function as well. You want good blood flow in every part of your body. So when it comes to brain health, cardiovascular health, and joint health, turmeric and ginger are really, really useful foods to be used as part of the tool and toolbox of food as medicine, but every bit is important. I want to let you know that ginger and turmeric are great foods to cook with, whether they're in dried form or in fresh form. And look, if you don't know how to use these ingredients, it's so simple. Type in ginger and turmeric, go onto Google, hit search, recipe, hit search, punch up a video, and watch somebody teach you some of the recipes they love to make, creating a tasty dish using the health ingredients of turmeric and ginger. I hope you found this helpful, and thank you for watching.